Democrats have accused Donald Trump of possibly manipulating the stock market by announcing a 90-day pause on tariffs. But thankfully, we can all agree the people in Trump's inner circle have too much integrity for that. So, why are you laughing? Do you think that's funny? How dare you disrespect the office of the president like that? Although, now that you mention it, it might be fun to disrespect the office of the president like that. Let's give it a try. For more on this, it's time for a closer look. With markets falling yet again today amid the chaos and uncertainty over Trump's on-again, off-again, paused but not entirely paused tariff plan, but not a plan, Trump seemed to need a self-esteem boost, so he gathered his cabinet at the White House today for a ritualistic puckering of the lips and kissing of the buttocks.
You were overwhelmingly elected by the biggest majority. The U.S. Americans want you to be president because of your agenda.
Mr. President, on behalf of America's manufacturers, I want to thank you for standing up to the Chinese Communist Party and fighting for our Main Streets, for our workers. So the American worker is grateful. Main Street is grateful for you.
What you have assembled in your vision is a turning point and an inflection point in American history. And so just being a part of that is the greatest honor. So thank you for that.
When your staff goes that over the top with praise, that's how you know you up. I mean, they're clearly overcompensating. They sound like Hollywood agents after a giant flop. You crushed it. You killed it. Don't listen to the critics. The Emoji Movie was art. Is it just me, or does even Trump look a little uncomfortable? At some point, I have to believe even he's gonna listen to all this slobbering and say, "Is this gross? Does anyone else feel like this is getting creepy and weird?" Elon Musk was also there despite reports that he would be leaving the White House soon, and Trump praised him by once again doing an ad for Tesla, specifically the one Trump bought the last time he did an ad for Tesla.
Elon's done a fantastic job. Look, he's sitting here, and I don't care. I don't need Elon for anything other than I happen to like him. But I'm telling you, this guy did a fantastic job. I don't need his car. I actually bought one. You know what I do with it? I let the people in the office drive around in it. They're all driving around the most beautiful car.
I do love that Trump lets his aides drive the car because he could never drive it himself. Remember what he said when he first got in it?
Everything's computer.
Yeah. Everything's computer, baby. He sounds like a German tourist on the set of the USS Enterprise. Look at me, I'm the captain, Jean-Luc Picard, everything is computer? I know I signed off on that joke, but like, what's that guy doing in the Enterprise? I don't know, I guess I didn't think of him with like in a backpack. On Monday, let's do a closer look about this whole thing. After all the compulsory praise, Trump was asked about the stock market falling yet again today in feigned ignorance.
Can you give us a reaction to today's stock market drop and also give us a sense of the next steps with China?
Well, I haven't seen it because I've been here for 2.5 hours.
It's always funny when even Trump sounds like he wants to get the hell out of here. I haven't seen it. I've been stuck in this godforsaken meeting for 2 hours. Next time, maybe you guys could kiss my ass over email. Also, it's an obvious lie. We know Trump has seen the market because he's always glued to his television. Trump loves the fact that he can single-handedly change the news on a whim. During his first term, Trump would reportedly watch TV while tweeting and then marvel at how quickly his tweets appear on the television screen. You know how a baby reacts to seeing a picture of themselves on a phone. Wait, I'm here, but I'm also there? Am I like a god? Which is, by the way, exactly what Trump thinks. When you have the power to instantly change world events and people's lives, you should be terrified of that, not enthralled by it. But President Butterfly Effect over here loves it. Just flapping his arms in the Oval Office and watching the whole world shake. And of course, that's just an analogy. He can't flap his arms. The closest he can come is to that move where he's trying to tell the deli guy how big he wants his sandwich. I want it this big because last time it was this big and that's not so big. Anyway, the point is Trump loves that he can pull a string and make everyone dance, which is precisely why we have a constitutional democracy with separated powers, so we're not subjects to the whims of a mad king. The whole point is to have deliberative process for collective decision-making through an elected government that incorporates input from the people through their representatives. I can't believe I have to explain that. I feel like the Bill from Schoolhouse Rock, except that I can't sing for Here, I'll show you. I'm just a Bill. I'm only a... You know what? I take it, but that was actually really good. So, This is bad, not just. Oh my God. You clapping was like me being Trump and you being the cabinet. I should just go around and have audience members be like, I want to thank you for the way you sang. I've never heard music that wonderful, and it was an honor to be here for it. Now you. This is bad, not just for the economy, but for democracy. One man should not be able to dictate financial markets and single-handedly cause trillions of dollars to be lost or gained, but that is exactly what happened on Wednesday.
The president says he is authorizing a 90-day pause and substantially lowering the reciprocal tariff during this period of 10% effective immediately. So 2 major step forwards here. One, obviously, very good for the markets. You're seeing the markets react to that.
Wow. This is a shocking turn of events. The Dow is up 2,100 points right now. The NASDAQ is up 7.8%. The S&P is up 6.3%.
So let's talk about that. Do we have the
Yes.
other? Okay, we got another
hearing-
one, too. I'm just going to keep giving them to you.
Yeah,
We
here's
got
the
that. And, Dagan, I'm going to turn over to you.
No, you go, because there's even bigger news.
He's authorized a 90-day pause on tariffs, a 90-day pause effective immediately. Look at the straight shoot-up line on your screen. Markets desperate for this news.
It's chaos over at Fox Business. They were so desperate to announce the tariff pause, they were talking over each other like a couple telling a story at a dinner party. So Dave and I, Dave, why don't you tell it? So Jay and I, we were driving. Should I tell? Okay, go ahead, you tell it. So we were driving. Well, you were behind the wheel, so you tell it. So I was behind the wheel. Dave was behind the wheel. All right, you tell it. And he sees a sign. And what did the sign say? What did it say? Should I tell them or you? Well, you saw it, so you tell them what the sign said. Okay. And then somebody at the party says, did it say get to the point? Because that's what we wish it all said. But it's true. I mean, look at the green line shooting straight up. That's all because of one social media post from one guy. Normally, when you see a spike like that, it's on your grandpa's heart monitor after you tell him you're majoring in gender studies at Sarah Lawrence. Sarah Lawrence, the cookie company? And what the hell is gender studies? I thought you were studying finance. Oh, not anymore. Also, Grandpa, now I'm pansexual. Grandpa? I'm sorry. He's gone. Still went a little bit better than I thought it would. Now, just hours before that announcement, Trump posted, "This is a great time to buy," which has raised questions among Democrats as to whether this was possibly market manipulation.
Some Democrats are asking questions about potential insider trading. Congresswoman Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez says any member of Congress who purchased stocks in the last 48 hours should probably disclose that now. Senator Adam Schiff says he is writing to the White House to ask who knew in advance about the pause.
If you were in the president's inner circle and knew what he was going to say when,
you could make a lot of money.
You could make a lot of money. And in fact, today, he basically offered that stock tip before. There's some evidence that people were rushing into certain trades before the Truth Social post even went up.
Former Bush White House ethics lawyer Richard Painter posted market manipulation, misleading statements made with intent to affect securities prices, and other fraudulent acts in connection with securities markets are federal crimes.
Was that market manipulation? Was it corruption in plain sight?
Would I be surprised if there were people who hours before knew exactly what Trump was going to do in rescinding his tariff proposals, understanding that the stock market would soar and you make huge amounts of money? Would I be shocked if we learned about that in the days to come? No, I would not. Look, if you know 2 hours earlier that the stock market's going to go, what are you going to do? You're going to buy a hell of a lot of stock.
Bernie always cuts straight through the BS. They should have him do the airline safety videos. They'd be 10 seconds long. I know you're not listening, so I'm going to keep this short. Fasten your seatbelt, and if a mask falls down, put it on your face. And for his part, Trump seemed very pleased on Wednesday with the rally he caused by single-handedly tanking the markets and then reversing himself.
We were up like close to 3,000 points. Nobody's ever seen a day like that. I think that's a record, isn't it, fellas?
Definitely. Because you tanked it. You set a house on fire, then you called the fire department, and now you want credit for saving the house from the fire you started. The house is still there. You're welcome. Yes, a lot of it is very black and everything's wet. But once again, I have to stress, you are welcome. You don't get credit for stopping an emergency you started. And even then, you didn't even really succeed at cleaning up your own mess because the 10% across-the-board tariffs are still in place and markets are down again today. In fact, Trump himself admitted later on Wednesday that this was not a triumphant victory. He lost his nerve because of panic in the bond markets.
Can you walk us through your thinking about why you decided to put a 90-day pause?
Well, I thought that people were jumping a little bit out of line. They were getting yippy, you know? They were getting a little bit yippy, a little bit afraid.
Was it the bond markets that persuaded you to reverse
No,
course?
I was watching the bond market. The bond market is very tricky. I was watching it, but if you look at it now, it's beautiful. The bond market right now is beautiful. But yeah, I saw last night where people were getting a little queasy.
The president should never describe people as getting yippy. That's how an old lady describes a dog that gets nervous around kids. Oh, I'm sorry. Bradley gets a little yippy around loud noises. Isn't that right, Bradley? Ow! That's my finger, Bradley, you piece of. That's the closest Donald Trump has ever come in his life to admitting that he caved. He said it right there. He changed his mind because of market panic, not because he achieved his goal. He didn't sign anything new into law. There was no grand deal announced, but his sycophants in the administration and on Fox News actually went ahead and claimed that Trump somehow achieved victory anyway.
We're going to work with each of these countries, and we're going to come up with a great deal for America, and hopefully a deal that they think is appropriate. And off we're going to go for the golden age of America. It's coming now. You feel it now.
This is the plan that he was pursuing all along.
Many of you in the media clearly missed the art of the deal.
This is just wonderful. This is Trump at his best.
Bill Ackman, who is a supporter of the president, said that this was brilliantly executed by Trump. Textbook, art of the deal here.
Here's the thing. China was always the end game. Trump won.
Won what? Seriously, I'm asking, what did we win? If tariffs on China was the end game, why didn't he just put tariffs on China and skip the weird home game version of Family Feud he played on the White House lawn? Top 75 countries on the board, show me Malaysia. You guys keep saying this was the art of the deal. What was the deal? He didn't announce a deal. There is no deal. What deal are you talking about? What deal? What did we win? What was the deal? I'm losing my mind. So let me paraphrase the Nobel Prize-winning economist Jerry Seinfeld. What's the deal? Also, how can you say this was the plan all along? Just a few days ago when markets were tanking, you were all talking about enduring financial pain for a greater good to bring jobs back to America.
Look, when this nation used to go to war, people in this country would support the war effort with their materials at home and making things for weaponry and all of that. We got to do 100% buy-in over this bumpy period.
This is what Donald Trump ran on, and he's delivering. And you know what? I don't really care about my 401k today.
In fairness, she doesn't care about her 401k because she doesn't have one. All her retirement money is stuffed into empty wine bottles buried in her backyard. But even on Fox, there have been cracks in the propaganda among those willing to acknowledge what really happened.
Let's be clear what happened. Who capitulated here and why? And, I don't want to say this because I'm a patriot. I'm an American. But it is the White House who capitulated based on everything I hear and all my sources.
Wow, you rarely hear unvarnished truth like that on Fox News. Immediately after that segment, that guy was lifted out of the studio by a giant claw. The truth is there was never a grand plan. There are very clear ways to revitalize American industry and set up supply chains and create good-paying union jobs in this country. But slapping arbitrary made-up tariffs on islands populated by penguins obviously won't do that. All it did was create panic and hurt the working class who had nothing to do with the offshoring and globalization to begin with. Oligarchs got us into this mess, and now oligarchs are the ones causing the chaos. We can't have a system dictated by the whims of one man. One social media post from the president can cause market turmoil. That's bad for democracy, and it's bad for the economy because
everything's computer.
This has been a closer look.
It's a fight-off!